United Airlines is under fire after not allowing girls to enter the plane because of what they were wearing. Passengers from 8 Middle Eastern countries are banned from carrying certain electronics. A Salvadorian priest is honored in Los Angeles.
This is Valley View News.
Welcome to Valley View News. I'm Susanna Guzman.
And I am Sharon Carrillo.
The US and UK have ordered airlines flying from countries in the Middle East to stop passengers from bringing electronics on board. Electronics bigger than smartphones, including laptops, cameras, and iPads, must be checked in with luggage. Medical devices will be allowed after a security screening. U.S. officials say the ban is to stop terrorists from smuggling explosives and electronic devices. Intelligence says electronic explosives pose a serious threat to aviation.
In response to a Twitter storm, United Airlines says most passengers are allowed to wear leggings. The controversy started after a bystander in Denver witnessed 2 teenage girls not being allowed to board their flight in leggings. A United spokesperson says passengers like the 2 girls who are flying with an employee pass have a different set of rules. These privileged travelers aren't allowed to wear spandex or lycra pants since they fly as representatives of the company.
March 22nd was National Water Day, and CSUN students came together to learn the importance of conserving water. Reporter Jael Allen has the story.
My native language was my grandfather.
2 of the main speakers at the event were Red Earth Defense's George Funmaker from the Ho-Chunk and Spirit Lake Dakota Nation and Cheyenne Phoenix from the Navajo and Northern Paiute Nations.
We have a responsibility here to take care of what we have taken from for so long and to give back to the earth because it's important for our survival.
Funmaker and Phoenix have both been active for years at rallies and marches for Indigenous rights across the United States. Funmaker said students can help by refusing to support big banks that support projects like the Dakota Access Pipeline.
We want them to decolonize from their mindset and looking at Earth in a different way from an indigenous perspective instead of a Western way of looking at the Earth as like real estate or a commodity. But for us as indigenous people, the Earth is our mother and it's sacred and we have to protect it.
During the event, students were invited to spin a wheel to win prizes like reusable silverware and straws. CSUN student Renzo San Juan says it's important for groups to work together to battle injustice.
It really is our responsibility as human beings to acknowledge where injustice lies, where sometimes evil can come up, and how we can work with each other and reach out regardless of where we come from.
Michael Quill from the conservation group LA Waterkeepers outlined how students can volunteer for watershed and marine protection programs. Watershed teams go after polluters that violate the Clean Water Act. The Clean Water Act was designed to keep major bodies of water free from pollution. Former President Obama strictly enforced this act, but President Trump is reviewing this regulation to ensure it does not harm the economy. Quill said Waterkeepers is focused on ensuring clean water for everyone. He told students that they don't have to live close to the beach to help clean it up.
Everything on our streets runs into storm drains and runs into the LA River or rivers or creeks and floods into the ocean. So being aware of what you do inland affects everything that happens in the ocean. And if you see pollution, call the pollution hotline at the state or call LA Waterkeeper, and we get teams out there to investigate what's going down.
Funmaker and Phoenix ended their presentations with a song and prayer on how to protect the water and earth. I'm Cheyenne Conaway in Northridge for Valley View News.
A Portland, Oregon dreamer was arrested by ICE at his home last month. The man told ICE he was a DACA participant, but they handcuffed him anyway. The ACLU of Oregon said his arrest might have been because of an old DUI charge. ICE says even a misdemeanor DUI is enough to end DACA status.
Hundreds of people gathered in MacArthur Park to commemorate the late Salvadorian Archbishop Oscar Romero. Reporter Michael Ramirez has the story.
The Salvadorian American Leadership Organization hosted the event to honor Archbishop Oscar Romero on the 37th anniversary of his assassination. This statue honors Romero, who was an important activist for millions of Central Americans during the civil wars that took place in the 1980s in El Salvador, Nicaragua, and Guatemala. Romero battled against poverty and social injustice. CSUN Central American Studies professor Jocelyn Duarte says Monsignor Romero is a power figure for the Hispanic community.
In particular for the Salvadoran community or the Central American community at large, he represents so many things. Definitely hope, and it's a intersection between religion and the revolution in some cases for some people.
Archbishop Romero was murdered on March 24, 1980 by Roberto de Albusen, who was the leader of the Salvadorian Death Squad. Musician Fidel Sanchez sang this song to honor Romero. The song talks about how Monsignor Romero was not afraid to denounce the social injustice caused by the government.
His song is an expression of the time when he got killed. It's an expression of the land of hunger where we saw a leader who became a prophet and left a legacy despite his death.
Father Miguel Rodriguez held a mass at the event. He says Monsignor Romero created a legacy.
Monsignor Romero continues to exist today and makes us to continue his fight every day when we are working, when we're at home. We must denounce the social injustice so there can be an economic wealth distribution.
On May 23, 2015, the Catholic Church granted beatification to Archbishop Oscar Romero. In Macario Park, I am Michael Ramirez, Valley View News.
Fox News host Janine Pirro said Paul Ryan should step down after healthcare failure. She said he failed to get votes to pass the bill that would repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act. Prior to the show, Trump tweeted to watch Judge Janine on Fox. Trump's chief of staff, Reince Priebus, says that the tweet was coincidental.
I did not talk to the president about the tweet. I'm just telling you the truth. There was no pre-planning here. The president,
the president. But why would he say watch her, and then that's the first thing out of her mouth?
Because he loves Judge Janine, and he wanted to do Judge Janine a favor.
So does he want Paul Ryan to step down or not?
No, he doesn't. And he's talked to Paul Ryan yesterday for about an hour. He believes what he said in the Oval Office on Friday. He doesn't blame Paul Ryan. In fact, he thought Paul Ryan worked really hard. He enjoys his relationship with Paul Ryan, thinks that Paul Ryan's a great Speaker of the House.
Publicly, Trump blames small government conservatives in the House Freedom Caucus and outside conservative groups.
The Make America Great Again rally in Huntington Beach brought supporters of the president as well as protesters against him. Event organizers said the rally was not simply for Trump, but was a patriotic rally, celebrating first responders and military veterans. Fights erupted where pepper spray and tasers were used, ending in multiple arrests. A separate rally in Hollywood the day before brought out roughly 100 supporters and ended peacefully.
The Congressional Black Caucus is calling for a federal investigation into missing teens and children in Washington, D.C. More than 500 children and teens of African and Latino descent have gone missing in the nation's capital in 2017. Lawmakers say when children of color go missing, authorities think they are runaways rather than victims of abduction and don't investigate. Police Chief Peter Schneusman addressed the media at a town hall last week.
And I think this awareness that the commander has raised in our community about the number of kids who do go missing, it's very important.
D.C. police say the numbers are actually lower than last year.
British investigators say Khalid Massoud was not directly associated with ISIS during his fatal attack last week. Massoud ran over pedestrians on the Westminster Bridge, then crashed in front of the House of Parliament and stabbed a police officer to death. Massoud was shot and killed by police. 3 others died. Massoud was reportedly active on the messaging service WhatsApp 2 minutes prior to his attack. ISIS is known to use encryption apps to communicate with extremists, but investigators say he was more likely inspired by ISIS than directed by them. Investigators are still determining whether Massoud acted alone or as part of a group. 12 others have been arrested.
2 mechanics were arrested last weekend after an escalator malfunction in Hong Kong. 18 people were injured when the escalator suddenly changed direction and sent people tumbling down. The mechanics are facing charges of obstruction of justice and are required to report back to police in mid-April. The Otis elevator company, who employs the 2 men, says they are cooperating with law enforcement.
Uber has pulled self-driving cars from the roads after an accident in Arizona. The crash left the vehicle on its side. The accident occurred when another vehicle failed to yield to the Uber car at a left turn. There was a person behind the wheel, but it's unknown if they were controlling the vehicle at the time of the collision. No one was hurt.
A shooting took place in Cincinnati at the Cameo nightclub Sunday morning. One person was killed and 16 were injured.
I thought I was going to die at that point. Survival skills started kicking in once I heard the third shot. I didn't know whether it was coming from outside and somebody was shooting at the club or whether it was coming from in the inside. Once I realized it was coming from the inside, I immediately dived to the ground, to the side, and my boyfriend, he dived on top of me.
Police believe more than one person was involved and that the incident developed from a dispute that started earlier in the day. The shooting was not related to terrorism. Police do not have any suspects in custody but are interviewing witnesses.
When we come back, we'll take a look at how the Cancer Walk is raising awareness.
And the Oakland Raiders are moving to Sin City.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
Ms. Stevens, I just wiped malware off our system. People have got to stop clicking unsolicited email links and downloading free software unless it's from a trusted source.
Sounds great.
We need a data backup plan in a separate location in case we get hacked.
We need to focus on making profits, not spending them.
Learn to protect yourself from ransomware. If you become a victim, contact your local FBI office.
Thousands laced up for the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Walk at Dodger Stadium. As Valley View News reporter Grecia Lopez shows us, this was truly a celebration of life.
It was a sea of pink at the Susan G. Komen LA Race for the Cure. Thousands prepared to run or walk in support of their loved ones who are battling breast cancer and those who have survived.
I'm a survivor, so I'm here to support not only all the other survivors, but the cause for finding a cure.
For Gina Lira, who battled cancer for 2 years, this event reminds her that she is not alone.
Means a lot. It means knowing that I'm not the only one out there that survived this terrible disease, that there's plenty of love and support from everybody, my family, my friends.
Lyra's sister, Veronica, also participated to support her sister.
I was there through every chemo treatment. I went through the whole process with her and supporting her.
Runners laced up in pink tutus to raise money for local breast cancer health services. An estimated 800 survivors participated, sporting pink souvenir shirts and smiles. Breast cancer affects 1 out of 8 women, but also affects those close to them.
My mom survived, and she's a breast cancer survivor, and I'm really proud of her. And I'm here to support her and everyone else that went through the same process as she did. I know it was tough for my mom, so just imagining that other families had to go through it too, I just can't imagine the pain.
Her children are what motivated Lyra to push through treatment.
My family, my kids, I fought for them. You know, I was fighting for my life, but it was really I need to be here for my children. So they were a big inspiration.
Runners ran to help find a cure, to advocate for cancer education, and support a community that is full of hope. For Katie Cole, beating cancer is right around the corner.
So I've been going through treatment. I started treatment in the second week of November, and I'm now toward the end. I should finish at the end of this month and then head into mastectomy and reconstructive.
Survivors who ran were greeted at the finish line with a pink rose.
As you can see right behind me, the participants are just finishing their course. They're getting water and protein bars to get energy for the rest of the event. In Los Angeles, Grecia Lopez, Valley View News.
The 4th annual Philadelphia Love Run half marathon ended with an act of kindness. A visibly exhausted woman was seen struggling toward the end of the 13 miles. 2 runners saw the woman and attempted to help her walk. Another saw their struggle and picked the woman up and carried her across the finish line. First place went to Daryl Brown, who finished the race in 1 hour and 11 minutes.
Now here's Eric Kabak with this week's sports segment.
Thank you, Susanna. The Raiders are officially moving to Las Vegas beginning in 2019. NFL owners voted 31-1 in favor of the move. They will continue to play in Oakland for the next 2 seasons. The Raiders are planning on building a new 65,000-seat domed stadium set to open before the 2020 season. Team owner Mark Davis says he understands Oakland fans are disappointed, but he said he hopes that they do not direct their frustration towards the players and the coaches. The Raiders are the 3rd NFL team in the past 2 years to relocate. The team has played in Oakland since 1995. 2 of the biggest college basketball powerhouses, North Carolina and Kentucky, played for a spot in the Final Four this past weekend. Coaches Roy Williams, who's 4-3 in the Elite Eight, and John Calipari, who's 4-1, face off. We pick it up second half. Malik Monk pump fake. 3, got it. Down 1 with 38 seconds left. Now 12 seconds left in the second half. Malik Monk over 2 defenders. Does it again to tie the game up with 7 seconds left. But that's not it. UNC dribbles down to gets it. 3, got it. And the game is over. And UNC goes to the Final Four as they win 75-73. North Carolina advances to their 20th Final Four. The Tar Heels will play the Oregon Ducks for a chance to play in the national championship. The Cinderella story of this year's tournament, South Carolina, looked to advance to their first Final Four ever. We'll pick up the action late in the second half. Thornwell into the middle and gets the South Carolina Gamecocks the lead with 5 minutes left in the second half. Now the Florida Gators are driving to make something happen, but a steal by the Gamecocks. Up to Dwayne Notice for the dunk. Hammer time. And that will seal the game for the Gamecocks, and they will be headed to the first ever Final Four. Jeannie Buss is officially in control of the Los Angeles Lakers. This decision comes weeks after brothers Jim and Johnny Buss tried to have her removed. Jeannie and her brother settled their lawsuit Monday morning. Jeannie will serve as the Lakers' controlling owner for as long as the Buss family owns the team. Jim also agreed to resign as one of the 3 trustees. The youngest sister, Jeannie's ally, Janie, was awarded that position. Jeannie's attorney, Adam Streisand, said all Lakers fans can finally breathe a sigh of relief. The Lakers unveiled a new statue of Hall of Famer center Shaquille O'Neal this past weekend. The statue ceremony was a reunion of some familiar faces. Many of Shaq's former teammates and coaches, including Kobe Bryant and Phil Jackson, were in attendance. O'Neal is the 4th Laker player to be honored with a statue outside of Staples Center. O'Neal won 3 championships with the Lakers and was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame last year. Phoenix Suns second-year shooting guard Devin Booker had a game for the ages. The 20-year-old scored a franchise record 70 points in their 130-120 loss to the Boston Celtics. Booker became the youngest player to score more than 60 points in a game. He became only the 6th player in NBA history to hit the 70-point plateau. Booker shot 21 for 40 and scored a whopping 51 points in the second half. Booker also ended with 8 rebounds and 6 assists to go along with his 70 points. This was the highest scoring game in the NBA since former Laker Kobe Bryant scored 81 in January of 2006. Booker said after the game that this opportunity doesn't come very often and that his teammates helped him make history. And that's it for sports. Now back to you.
Democratic voter registration in California has gone up and Republican registration has decreased. Secretary of State Alex Padilla says the percentage of Democratic voter registration increased nearly 45%. He says registration has continued to climb since the November election. Smaller political affiliations such as the American Independent Party, Peace, and Freedom Party witnessed small increases. The percentage of eligible registered Californian voters increased more than 5%.
After the break, Disneyland is raising its prices.
And Adam Sandler is teaming up with Netflix again.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
I've come up with a family emergency plan.
What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
Me too. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Granada Hills Charter High School won this year's California Academic Decathlon in Sacramento. But this year, the public portion of the annual competition was invalidated. Competition officials say that the same version of the Super Quiz was used in Alaska and posted on YouTube. They say it's unlikely that students saw it, but it's possible. Granada Hills Charter will represent California in the national competition, pursuing the state's 15th consecutive U.S. title next month in Madison, Wisconsin.
Some parents at a North Hollywood middle school say budget cuts are race-based. The school faces layoffs and increased class sizes due to a law limiting funds for schools with the higher white student body. LAUSD provides more funding for schools where the white population is below 30%. In a letter to parents, the district noted the middle school had been above the percentage for a couple of years.
The happiest place on earth has increased the price of happiness to $124 a day. Valley View News reporter Samantha Schenkel has more on the story.
The price has tripled since 2000. It costs up to $174 for a day at both Disneyland and California Adventure. Stephanie Lawson says she loves Disneyland, just not the price increases.
No, it's not like a weekend outing you can just pick up and decide to go to Disneyland. You have to really plan for it.
Annual passes have increased by $10 to $20. Southern California resident Haley Burning bought a single-day pass today and will not upgrade to an annual pass.
I do not think I would get my money's worth out of it because I would probably only go once a year.
Brittany Bonnell considers an annual pass a bargain.
And I go twice, it's already paid for, then therefore every time after that, it's covered.
When Disneyland opened more than 60 years ago, visitors could ride elephants and wander Tom Sawyer's Island. These are still around today. So are Disney characters like Minnie Mouse and other favorite attractions. But Disneyland has expanded, tripling in size since its opening. And it will keep expanding in 2019 with Star Wars Land. California Adventure opened its doors in 2001, offering a new experience to customers. The park is now geared more to adults with full bars and featuring wine and appetizers. The Paradise Pier was inspired by Victorian-style boardwalks. In 2012, Disney released Cars Land within California Adventure. If the price increase is worth it to you, then come down to the Magic Kingdom. This is Samantha Schenkel in Anaheim for Valley View News.
Now, let's go to Yesenia Burgara with the latest in entertainment.
Thank you, Sharon. Selena Gomez surprised Los Angeles high school students with advice to love yourself first. She joined the after-school program Step Up, whose goal is to empower and fulfill one's potential. Gomez says working with the young woman she met was an inspirational experience she will never forget. One Direction star, Harry Styles, revealed a mysterious teaser during the commercial break on the TV show The Voice. It shows Styles walking through a smoky room towards a door with bright lights, and suddenly the words April 7 flashes across the screen. It could be the release date for his debut solo single. Styles has a solo recording contract with Columbia Records. Comedian Adam Sandler has signed a 4-film deal with Netflix. His latest film, The Ridiculous Six and The Do-Over, were panned by critics, but they were a smash with viewers. Netflix says Sandler's movies will continue to be streamed. His latest film is about an oddball manager with an eye for talent, co-starring Jennifer Hudson. Netflix is working on a hybrid documentary about JonBenét's Ramsey's murder. The show, directed by Kitty Green, is called Casting JonBenet, and it features actors auditioning to play the roles of Ramsey's family. 6-year-old JonBenet was found murdered in her Colorado home in 1996. No one was ever convicted. Amy Schumer will no longer be in the upcoming Barbie movie due to scheduling conflicts and her busy schedule. The comedian will be going on tour to promote her upcoming movie Snatched, and she will begin filming a new movie shortly. Schumer says she is sad she will not be in the Barbie film, but is looking forward to seeing it on the big screen. Sony says it supports Schumer and will keep the public updated with casting. The film is expected to be released next year. 2 stars from the Netflix series Orange is the New Black have tied the knot. Samari Wiley and Lauren Morelli exchanged vows in Palm Springs. The brides wore Christian Siriano dresses and shared their post-wedding pictures on social media with the hashtag #Wived. A full spread of the wedding will be published in Martha Stewart Wedding magazine this summer. That's all for entertainment. Now back to you.
Otters have come back to the California coast this spring. An annual otter count found more than 3,000 living up and down the coast. Researchers say it may be the result of starfish dying, leaving more sea urchins for the otters to eat. Protected by the Endangered Species Act, otters are threatened by oil spills, toxins, bacteria, and sharks. Otters could be removed from the endangered species list within the next 3 years if their numbers stay up.
2 species of endangered shrimp were found living in pools at Fairview Park in Costa Mesa. City officials say the so-called fairy shrimp have also been discovered in San Diego and Riverside. A Costa Mesa biologist says the eggs of fairy shrimp hang out on the bottom of seasonal pools for years. When the pools fill up with rainwater, the eggs pop out, grow, and then die when the water evaporates. A city public service director says they are working to designate and identify appropriate boundaries for these pools.
Spring has made its debut this year, showcasing beautiful blooms. Among those are the cherry blossoms at the Descanso Gardens. Valley View News reporter Cynthia Marin shows us the bursts of colors.
This is what people came for, the cherry blossoms. Dozens of people gathered around hundreds of blooms, taking in the beauty of nature at the annual Cherry Blossom Festival at Descanso Gardens in La Cañada, Flint Ridge. Nadia Hagen, the Education Programs Manager, says you only get a short period during the year to view these beautiful flowers.
The cherry blossoms are really ephemeral. They have a short bloom period, so it's sort of this fleeting, beautiful moment that people can come together and see all these flowers in bloom.
This year, the festival offered guided tours and discovery stations where people can compose haikus and show off their artistic skills.
It's very pretty and everyone is here having fun.
Also featured was a special performance by Minyo Station, a group that blends traditional Japanese music with Western sounds. The Cherry Blossom Festival sold out its first weekends, making it one of the most popular events at Descanso Gardens. The gardens are also home to many other spring favorites in a wide assortment of colors and variety. But the main attractions were the cherry blossoms. In La Cañada, I'm Cynthia Marin with Valley View News.
That was pretty. Thank you for watching Valley View News. I'm Susanna Guzman.
And I am Sharon Carrillo.